What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the best podcast that you've never heard of, Small Talks with the Big Guy. I'm, of course, your host, as always, Eero. Thank you so very much for joining us in this next episode, episode 7, yet again, of the best podcast that you've never heard of. We've got a first-timer on the show tonight. Let's see. Twitch superstar, TikTok streamer, potentially Balls sponsored energy streamer. Ladies and gentlemen, good friend of the channel, Reigns of Onyx.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going good, brother. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, doing my thing. Hopefully that sponsorships is coming, but somebody is trying to ease their way in there by sending me stuff constantly now. So it's like,
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Got some streamer drama.
Right.
There you go. So you've watched the show. You kind of know what we're doing here. For the uninitiated, obviously with Onyx and his community, there may be some new viewers / watchers, listeners to the show. First of all, hi, hello. My name is Zero. So nice to see you. So nice to meet you. We do an interview style podcast here on Small Talks with the Big Guy. Basically, I just give my guest here some questions about what he does, what they do. We're going to hit you with the Eero's top 5 at some point, probably about halfway through. Sorry, I just had corned beef hash, and like it is sticking in the back of the throat.
That'll do it.
Goodness gracious. But wonderful start to the podcast. It's all right. We're professionals here. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about yourself. Feel free to go as deep and as personal as you'd like. And let's just get into it. So let's just start off with the easiest one that I'm going to ask you all day, Onyx. Who the hell is Reigns of Onyx?
That's actually probably a lot more loaded question than it needs to be, but just to keep it simple, I'm a truck driver by day, dad of 6, 24/7, husband to a wife that I don't know why she stays with me or tolerates me because I can be rather annoying, and gamer by night. I've always enjoyed playing games. Believe it or not, I was basically an Ocarina of Time and nothing else guy for very much of my youth until I got to high school and met my good group of friends who got me into Halo and Fable and Call of Duty and all those other games. Now I have just a list of games of way too many that I play and own and don't have enough time for, but just probably that average gamer dad.
Love to hear it. I say, don't worry, we'll get into that list of games. That will absolutely be a discussion. So we met, I don't know if you remember, we met off of what I called an RGR, a random game raid.
Mm-hmm.
It was back when I was streaming, currently retired. I don't remember what we were playing. For some reason, Elden Rings. For some reason, Elden Ring is coming to my brain, but I could be incorrect. And I remember we were scrolling through. So the gimmick with the RGR was that we always tried to raid somebody. That at the end of the stream, we always tried to raid somebody, and we would typically go for somebody who either had an equal amount of viewers or less. That's just kind of was always like the unwritten rule of streaming and unrating on Twitch. And I came across your channel, and I remember I just really dug your vibe, and we raided you. And ever since then, I mean, you joined my community, I joined yours, and we've just been, we bonded over professional wrestling, of course, which don't worry, we'll get into. Exactly. So I guess take us back to that RGR night where you got randomly raided by a guy named Arrow, and what were your thoughts, man? What was going through the brain?
I remember it pretty vividly because the first initial thing was at that point in time, I wasn't streaming from a capture card or anything. I was standing in front of my big screen, streaming from my Xbox with a camera that couldn't reach very far. So I had to stand the entire time I would stream for a couple hours. I was playing Warzone. It was a solo Warzone, which I never do. And I just remember seeing the raid and going, oh shit, when did that happen? Did that happen recently? Because at this point in time, as you know, one of my emotes is standing room only because I'd have to stand. Well, the only way I could see my chat was on my phone, was placed right next to the camera. But if I'm looking up at the TV, I couldn't see what happened. I looked down and went instant panic of, oh crap, when did that happen? I was like, no, I would have saw, and I introduced myself very poorly, by the way, because I was still in the middle of that match, and I remember thanking you, and I remember reading your name incorrectly because I believe I called you.
Everyone always does.
Well, I believe I said E-Robe because I wasn't fully looking. So I kept saying E-Robe. And I was like, yeah. And then I realized, next panic, once that match was over and I looked down, I was like, oh, crap. That's not a B.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. But, I remember it. I felt very, excited, blessed. Someone came in, rated me. You gave me a couple biddies. You were talking to me. And the thing that stood out to me still is the fact that you didn't do this squishy mushy, go get him, Onyx. You're like, hey, C for effort, but fail. You should have hit that shot. Like you were just like, no. You need to win. Like I'm here. Let's win this. I finished top 10. I didn't win, but the fact that you didn't just do the whole, oh yes, love me. I'm Ero. I've gifted you. I've come here. You're like, nah, dude, that was dog water. You should have won. You had that shit. And that's what stuck with me. I'm like, okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I think Jedi was with you too.
I was gonna say probably Jedi, probably Alex and Ali.
I think Artie was
Bacon.
Too. I think Artie. I think there was like 4 people with you, and I just remember thinking like, this is actually pretty cool.
I say Artie always tried her best to get into the raids whenever I announced that they were happening. But yeah, so I will say the one thing I remember from that was I don't know if you remember or not. You were at one point wearing a like Velociraptor mask.
Oh shit! Was that the same stream?
I think so.
T-Rex Tuesdays. Oh god.
Yeah.
And that was the evolved form because originally I wore a big T-Rex inflatable, the thing that invaded TikTok and YouTube and everyone.
My God.
That's what I wore. But when I was playing with my squad, they were the ones who convinced me to do it. And then I started doing it, and they're just like, is there any way you can turn off the buzzing from the fan? I'm like, no, because I need the mic inside. I can't have it outside or I can't hear you. Like, it needs to be inside. And it eventually evolved into, believe it or not, the mask is right there. I started wearing that mask. That way there's no sound. I brought it out for a subathon the other day, my Twitch anniversary, I think, because someone was like, bring back T-Rex Tuesday. And I was like, fuck it, here it is. And I just put it on. I was like, let's play a couple matches. And
that's awesome.
It was fun. So yeah, no, I forgot that was a T-Rex Tuesday. So you didn't see my expression of, oh God, how long were they there?
No, yeah. So I remember seeing the T-Rex and I was like, that's awesome. I love gimmicks like that when it came to streamers. Obviously I still do, but good stuff. I didn't know how much of that you would remember or not.
Oh no, I still get the occasional, are you going to bring back T-Rex Tuesdays? And if I were to ever, well, I can't really stream Tuesdays anymore because at that point in time, my schedule was a little bit different for my job. But like, I would want to bring back the full suit, but the suit broke. So I can't do the full Tuesday. Like, the mask was fun. Like, it's fun. It gets the point across, but it doesn't give the whole, you see this giant inflatable T-Rex, which, by the way, where the eyes are, which is what I was trying to put on the camera at the time, my face is down here. So I'm like doing this, trying to keep the dinosaur it was a blast. So you know, those streams didn't last very long. Those usually were only like an hour because I couldn't take that suit for couldn't do it that long. Like there's a level of dedication some of these people have that I just go, I don't think I have that in me. How do you sit in that? Because during summer, that thing gets hot. Yeah, there's a fan in there, but that fan doesn't cool you. That fan just pushes the air up. So you're just cooking in that thing the longer you go. And at the time, remember, I'm standing 5 feet from the TV. So the heat of the TV, I was like, oh, this is rough. How do people do this?
Right. Goodness gracious. Well, excuse me, sorry. How long would you say you've been doing the streaming thing?
4 to 5 years. I'm gonna say it's 4 to 5 years. I didn't officially do my first stream until I bought my house that I'm currently in, which was just over 5 years ago. So it's been, I believe I started in 2019. So I just don't remember. Okay. It was in April of 2019, I believe. So we're coming up on 5 years. So, or we're just over 5 years. I don't remember. But yeah, it's been
for sure
been a while.
And it definitely seems like, I mean, you've always been streaming, at least in the time that I've known you, but it definitely seems like this past year and a half, you've really given it a like, nah, fuck it, we're gonna do it, kind of a go to it. So like, what's the motivation behind that?
All right, so this is going to be a little of a long-winded answer just to be able to explain it all. So when I first started streaming, it was kind of at the height of Warzone. Everyone was doing it. COVID had hit. And I was like, I'm going to be real with myself. I'm probably not going to be a major streamer. But, you know, I have fun. Me and my friends' conversations in Warzone are some of the best conversations for people to hear because you say the dumbest shit. And usually it's funny. Like, you know what I'm talking about. So I started streaming.
Oh, yeah.
And then I realized I needed a capture card and to go through my PC so they could actually hear the party because Xbox implemented a new thing before they got Discord in there to where you couldn't hear the other party because that was... I don't think I need to explain COD lobbies to people. When you know. So there was a little bit of a restriction down. So all they could hear was me talking to other people. You know, I had to evolve, right? Eventually I evolved. And then 2022 hit. And something changed. I basically didn't stream for I was not much on social media. I didn't stream very much. And I guess this is just my explanation now because a lot of people assumed I hit a wall. They thought I hit a wall. They had all these things because oddly enough, at that point in time, I had gotten to a point where I was actually averaging almost 20 people watching. I'd actually gotten to a real, like that T-Rex Tuesday thing. It started to become kind of a thing. And I was like, and this is before I even started streaming on TikTok. This was strictly Twitch. And something changed, and that was I had to go into one of the most important things that happened in my life, and I needed to focus 100% on it. And that was battling for custody of my now soon to be 8-year-old daughter. It was a very ugly, unfortunate situation that had to happen. I won't get into the details why, but the bottom line is I had to set a priority, and my priority was court, custody, and the well-being of my daughter. And so I kind of disappeared. I had stuff here and there, but I kind of just wasn't there. And then fast forward to now, I mean, I got back into streaming. Once that was all done, I won custody, by the way. So mission accomplished. After all that was done, with stream off and on, had a schedule, tried to stick to it as best as I could. I think you remember, but I'm a truck driver. I work for Cisco Foods. I drive the big semis, but I stay locally. I go to restaurant, deliver that. When I started streaming, I worked for Coca-Cola. Yes, that Coca-Cola. And then I switched to Cisco. And then another life-altering event happened. I got hurt in January of this year. And when I got hurt, I am still hurt, actually. I've been out of work this entire year on injury leave because of the injury I sustained. And
wow.
when I had an injury that took me out for a couple weeks, it was like a partially dislocated shoulder, weird thing. I decided to stream for a couple days, and I got some traction, and I had just been able to do TikTok stuff, and it was kind of like a weird situation. So I was like, if they tell me I don't have a timeline and I'm just going to be sitting at home, let's really batten down. Woo! Sorry, that came out of nowhere. I apologize.
Bless you.
Excuse me. But I was like, let's batten down the hatches. We're going to iron out. This is my schedule. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to post more often. I'm going to keep to what I'm doing. Go all in because I can't do anything else. And that's really what's changed this year is I haven't missed a stream other than my vacation. I missed like one stream for technical issues, but for the most part, I've gotten live and I've kept to it. And that's kind of what's changed. And I've been doing that since, but there's a good chance I'll be finally able to go back to work in October. My wife's now distracting me. And the schedule I picked when I did all this too, in particular, it was because I'd be able to do it on my work schedule. Like that, yeah. I know that was a big key to all that. Hello. A big key to all that was to have a schedule that I could actually keep to when I return to work. And I feel very confident when I go back to work, I'll still be able to do it. There might have to be a couple tweaks here and there because when you're a delivery driver, it's not you clock in at 8 and you clock off at 5. What it is I have a start time that's typically 3 to 4, anywhere between there, depending on what my route is. And then my end time is when I deliver all the shit. Like there's no, I do have limitations to where technically I'm not allowed to work more than 14 hours in a day. I gotta do 16 hours one day a week. Obviously that sounds horrible. I'm used to it. Truck drivers, it's not a 40-hour a week job. It's typically a 55. And that's how my job is. So I know my struggles previously was the fact that I would try and do too much. I'd try to stretch myself too thin. I'd be like, oh, I can work a 16-hour shift and then go stream for 3 hours to then wake up on a Saturday to start work at 2 a.m. Yeah, no, not at all. Don't do that. It's I this time around, it's been more of I'm gonna do what's fun to me. Well, yeah, so babe, I'm gonna do what's fun to me. I'm gonna do what makes me happy. And to be perfectly honest with you, the big changes, I went from a guy that was like, let's take this seriously to a guy of I'm gonna be me. And if people come watch me, people come watch me. And to be honest, that is what's changed everything. That's why people watch me now. It's because of me. It's not just me trying to be like, I'm Reigns of Onyx. Let's do this. Like, we're gonna play Warzone. Let's get some dubs. I'm just like, hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? I'm your local neighborhood dork dad, and whatever. And you've seen me on stream. Like, I interact with everyone. If I die, I die. Like, it's just like, oh shit, I'm dog water. But that's okay, guys, because that's why you pay me. I am what it's worth. Oh, you've paid $0? Exactly. There's your answer. I am worth that. Aha. Why Netflix and chill when you can, Onyx and laugh? But that's not the point. But that's kind of what's changed is I've just become really me. And just like my wife staring at me right now, making fun of me because that's why she loves me. Again, as I said previously, I don't know why she's with me. Do you know why are you with me? She can't say. I think that's code.
It's not a.
Oh shit! They can hear you.
All I heard was inappropriate, and I was like, "Uh-oh."
There you go. I mean, I do have 6 kids, so if that doesn't tell you, I don't know what else does.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You were definitely a family man, and I do love that about you. Me, not to get too personal, me and my wife are unable to have kids. Yeah. So, and I do sometimes I live vicariously through other people with children. Granted, I don't think I would make the best dad because I'm not exactly the most patient person on the planet, and I am a little selfish. I do enjoy my freedom. But I definitely tip my hat to you, sir. 6 kids is insane. And you are a trooper. Definitely one of the most definitely one of the most loving guys I think I've ever seen off of Twitch, and you're definitely an inspiration to all fathers out there for trying to do, rather it's streaming or some kind of other profession. I think you're definitely an inspiration for a lot of dads out there. So
Oh, thank you.
not to get too mushy on you, but but that's awesome, man. I love all of that. Also, Cisco. I didn't expect that. I forget that you and I don't live that far from each other. Because I mean, when I worked at Buffalo, I was dealing with Cisco drivers, weekly. So
Mm-hmm.
it's funny. Things don't always click for me.
You're talking about Buffalo Wild Wings, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, technically, that's now the sister company. Yeah, I can't remember their name. It's Cisco, but they technically go by something else.
Well, I think it was like Aramark, something.
You go through Aramark. Yeah, similar thing. They're not us. Yeah.
Okay.
So same difference. Basically, the main places I go to, we go to a couple main chains. Like think Old Spaghetti Factory, Jersey Mike's, Jimmy John's, Dairy Queen was like the only actual like fast food joint we do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, where we go are that mom and pop down the street, or as you were bringing up in our D&D session, we probably deliver to Aurelio's. Like those are the type of pizza places we deliver to, are the ones that are only in like we're the mom and pop kings. And believe it or not, we're a multi-billion-dollar international company, which I had never heard of Cisco until I got hired. I went, oh, that explains a lot. We deliver a lot of freaking food.
Yeah. No,
I get it.
No, I see the trucks all over the time, all over the place, because like they are just everywhere. But yeah, no, it's awesome, man. And I do get the struggle with delivery drivers, because I also deliver. Granted, it's not to your full expansion. I'm just an Amazon guy, but I do get it. I do get it. It is always not the greatest job on the planet.
There's an art to it. There's an art, and the funny thing is, the reason why, I mean, my boss tells me he loves me, and my customers say they love me, is the fact of what you're getting right now, what you see on stream. That's just who I am. I'm always smiling, always being a smartass, smiling, being a smartass, trying to look for the brighter things. Like,
hell yeah,
like that. That's just who I am. And when I'm not doing that, I'm just not myself.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, and I love that about you too, brother. All right. So one thing I always love to ask streamers is I always love to ask where the gimmick came from. Some people, their gimmick is, relatively just a play off of their own name or whatnot. And what I mean by gimmick is Reigns of Onyx.
Ooh, that's actually a good question. So I think you're going to like this. So
probably.
So my real life name is Trenton Chalmers, which confuses a lot of people on TikTok because they think Trenton Chalmers and Reigns of Onyx are two different people, when TikTok allows you to quote unquote have a nickname. And my nickname, my display name is my actual name, not realizing that's what it did. Like if you look up Reigns of Onyx, you find me, but my display name says my actual name. Unintentional. I'm Italian and Irish. I have a lot of Italian descent on my dad's side. And my dad legally changed his name when he graduated high school to Chalmers, because that was his stepdad who raised him. But our actual family heritage name is Reigns. And learned about this, growing up, so on and so forth. And when I went to make a name for, on my Xbox 360 years ago, I was like, I'm going to use Reigns. Like, I don't want to use my name. None of the nicknames I had growing up, I could really use. I mean, my dad called me T-Dog for the longest time playing sports. High school, I was given the nickname Tea Time, based off of Like Mike with Bow Wow and all that stuff. And I'm call me Tea Time because Tracy Great, all that stuff. So I was like, let's go with Reigns. Like it has some family, like there's some heritage to it. It sounds good. I like it. At the time, Luther Reigns was a wrestler and right-hand man of Kurt Angle, who I hated Kurt Angle, but Luther Reigns, I was like, Reigns sounds, you know what, let's just go with Reigns. And then when I went to make my 360 name, I had to put numbers in it, which that crap drives me nuts. I don't want just my name and numbers, but I went Reigns 321, whatever, I'll deal with it. Fast forward a little bit, buddy of mine, really into books, really into Halo, found out a leaked name of the new Halo book that was coming out that fall with Halo 3. That name of those books was The Ghosts of Onyx. And he instantly changed his Xbox name to Ghost of Onyx. And we're like, why'd you change it? And he told us, he's like, hey, the new book's going to be The Ghosts of Onyx, blah, 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 blah. Good book. Haven't read it in years, but I know it was a pretty good book. And he's like, so yeah. And then we all got this weird idea because, we all play Halo. Gears was coming. It's like, let's all have the same name, right? Something of Onyx. And he took Ghost of Onyx. Our other friend took Lord of Onyx. And then the other friend took Knight of Onyx. Or no, not Knight, Duke of Onyx. And then it came to me, and I was like, guys, I don't know what to be. And they're just like, dude, just do Reigns of Onyx. I'm like, really? They're like, dude, it makes sense. It's like, you're Reigns of the Onyx. Like, let's do it. So I changed it to Reigns of Onyx all those years ago. And then when I started to look to go into more social media content creation, make a Twitch, I was like, I already have my name. No one can touch that name. No one's going to think to use that name. So I became Reigns of Onyx. And even to this day, this is the tidbit to it. I am known, like, you call me Onyx. A lot of people call me Onyx. There's a couple famous streamers that actually know me, not knowing it's me directly. But Gears of War is one of my favorite games of all time. When they showed that trailer of a chainsaw cutting through a locust, the clouds parted, a beam of light came down, the angels sang, oh, and I was like, this is my game. This is me. This looks awesome. Hell yeah. And it's a third-person shooter. Hell yeah. I was one of the top-ranked players in all of Gears worldwide. Like, I was a top-ranked player. I was on that list of people. Basically, I was on that short list of, you see this name, you run. You go full Bray Wyatt. You don't go near me. I was notorious for doing, I don't know if you played Gears, like how the original Gears, you had to pick rounds. So you had to do a certain amount of rounds, and it was a best of. And the most you could do was 20. The lowest you could do was one and done, which no one ever wanted to do. I was notorious for being in 20-round matches and winning 1v4s. I just had a way with that game. And I've entered multiple tournaments. And there was one tournament in particular that was before game battles really got big, right? Before game battles became something, someone built a website. I don't remember what it's called now, because this was way back in 2006, 2007. Shoot me now. That was the year I graduated. Remember, I have a 16-year-old.
Right.
This dude made this whole website that he ran through, of all places, MySpace. That tells you everything. And you had to register through MySpace. I think there ended up being, I want to say, close to like 50,000 people that registered for it. Like, it wasn't like in the millions, but it was quite a few people. But you had to submit your stats, and you had to be legitimate. And I made it to the final match. And the next to final match, because how they did it was you did teams the whole time, and your score was based off your KD, what weapons you did. If you used really crappy weapons, or you did something that's harder to do, you got a little bit more points, and then as well as winning the match with your team. And I made it to the final 4v4 match, and then once that match was over, they were going to basically do I think they said they were going to do like a best of 3 1v1s, like they're just to get to the final 4. I got to that final match of 4v4. One person never showed. Just luck of the draw. One person didn't show. And then one person lost connection in the middle of the match. It became 2v4 after one round. One round, it became 2v4. And when we fought our hearts out, like we played hard. I was still doing my thing, but again, this is no longer just a random guy in Gears I'm going against guys who were basically like me at the time. So they're legitimate players. And we lost the first round. Second round, we got to pick where to go, because it was basically you pick what map. And I picked my best map, which was Escalation. what high ground in Halo 3 should have been. Literally, you have nothing at the top, but you have the high ground, you have everything at the bottom, but you have the low ground. And then the guy I was with decided he didn't want to play no more.
Oh.
And it was 1v4. And I'll give it, one guy on the other side did say he was willing to switch teams. And I said, nope, this is how this goes, whatever. I won that round by myself.
That's wild.
I won that round by myself. Then I got steamrolled on the next map because, let's be real, I did what I could, but there was no way I was like, part of the reason I won that round was solely because of the fact they were not expecting, like, first match, they just bum rushed me. Stupid mistake. Killed all you easily with my shotgun. Dumb. Second match or whatever, I had the grenades, so I just ran up, grabbed the grenades, and just tossed both and killed all 4 of them. Again, them underestimating what I was doing.
Right, yeah.
And then they fought me for real, and I won and ended it. And I was like, I got one. You know what? I'll take it. I got one against the best of the best, so on and so forth. We get to the next round. They did not take me lightly. One dude had a sniper. 2 dudes were keeping me back basically in the spawn. And the other guy was getting whatever boom shot, special weapon kid, and just pinning me to where I had a Lancer and a shotgun and nowhere to go, which is how they should have did it the first time. But obviously, I lost, gave a valiant effort. Well, here's the part of the story. If I ever could find the YouTube video of it, I would. But would you like to take a guess of the name that was on the other team who offered to switch to my team? You definitely know his name.
He hasn't recently been canceled, has he?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Dr. Disrespect is not. I've never heard of him playing Gears, so no, not him.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I'm not sure. Who do you got?
Nick Merckx, who did become who didn't become famous till the World Series of Gears and Gears 2, which I didn't really participate much in Gears 2 for various of reasons. You become an adult when you graduate high school, and you have to make costs, and there was things in the way. When I was in high school, way easier to do this shit because technically I was a senior in high school when this tournament happened. But nonetheless, it was Nick Merckx. I will say to you, I did not know it was Nick Merckx or who he was at the time. The only reason I figured out that it was him is because he had an interview right after Gears 5 released, and he was talking about it, and he made a joke that I'm going to say it was about me. It may have not have been, but I'm pretty sure it was about me, and this is why. Going all back to my origin of the name, he brings up how, he Gears 1, no one knew who he was, made his name Gears 2, all this stuff, and then he made a joke like, man, those developers, I'm just waiting for them to send the Onyx guard after me. Like, oh yeah, like that faction they made in Gears 3. And it's like, oh no, they made that faction because of one guy. He started a rumor of claiming that the Onyx Guard, the elite of the elite Gears, who are basically the Spartans of the Gears of War universe, he made a joke that there was a guy named Onyx that they made that group after. And remember, no one calls me Reigns of Onyx. They all call me Onyx. Now, let's be real. It's probably not about me, but I know for a fact it was him in that tournament against me. And Nick's very good about not bringing unwanted attention. So when he was saying it, he was kind of doing the tongue-in-cheek, like, yeah, after one guy. Like, it felt like it was directed towards me.
I mean, hey, man, take it and run with it. Take it and run with it.
Exactly, which I know I don't like. It makes sense to talk about it in this podcast, but I'm not going to be like reaching out to Nick going, hey, remember me? I'm the Onyx. Like, let's not go there. Happy for the guy. The dude is a legitimate player. He's better than me, in my opinion. My expertise and professionalism in Gears comes from the fact that, like KO, I just keep fighting. It doesn't matter what I have, where I'm at, what are the odds. I always look straight ahead. If I have a corner, I'm going to take it. If you're going to run up on me, I'm going to blast you. If you're going to sit back, I'm going to work my way to you. And that's kind of why I think I was so good at that game, is the whole, I was willing to take it as a whole, and I was playing chess while everybody else was just, oh, shotgun, checkers. And I used it to my advantage. The minute I got to start sticking grenades into walls, it's like, all right, I got to stop using grenades for a little bit because this shit's too easy. Because you stick it in a spot they don't think. It's like, oh, I know you're going to take cover here. Let me stick the grenade right there. Oh, no, oh, man, did you run into my grenade? That sucks. I mean, let me go over here and take out your team.
Incredible.
I wish I was streaming during those times. People seeing peak Onyx and Gears, that would have definitely been fun. Like, when people talk about cracked games, the only game I've ever been cracked at is Gears of War, to be honest. I was cracked at Gears, and I'm a little bit cracked with Elliot and Dead or Alive. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay.
That's mostly with my friends, but they're like, I'm not allowed to pick Elliot when we fight because I don't lose. It's like, you're not allowed to be Elliot. Like, pick someone else. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to pick, Brad the Drunken Master. And they're like, you're a fucking asshole. I'm like, I'm not going to win. He's like, yeah, but it's going to take us forever to hit you. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, you're not letting me be Elliot, so fuck you.
I get that. Now, Jedi Joker shouts out, learned the hard way not to challenge me on Tekken against my king. Yeah. Me and King got a long history since Tekken 2 back on the PS1.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's crazy, though. What a story.
That's all going back to the origin of Reigns of Onyx. Like, that Onyx name.
That right there is exactly why I love this show. That right there. That kind of story right there is exactly why I love this show, because everyone's got an awesome story like that and they deserve to be heard. That's insane. I definitely didn't expect you to bust out Nick Merckx of all people.
Yeah, again, going back now, all of you listening, please don't be like, do you remember Onyx? Because he's had so many things happen in just this last year. He ain't going to remember me at all. I'm not looking for clout or, whatever. So
that's crazy, though.
It's a fun memory I had from back in the day. Like, it's in Gears is my game. The fact E-Day was announced, I couldn't be more excited. The fact that I did a video on it, but it looks like they're finally bringing the Gears Battle Royale to light.
Oh wow!
Well, if you've seen the trailer for it, right?
I don't think so.
So in the trailer, the way it ends, it gives you a shot they have never ever given in a Gears trailer, and I've seen all of them. Gears trailers always notorious for what? Strong music, gritty play. It's dark. It's close quarters. You're fighting for your life. Gears E-Day's trailer ends with a panned out view of the entire land and two people standing there.
Oh, okay.
They never give you that look ever. The closest to that look you've ever gotten was one Gears trailer panned out as Marcus was just shooting, being swarmed. They're not being swarmed. They're overlooking everything. And it's not pure destruction either. It's almost like they're foreshadowing a big open world. So I guess it could be
they just landed and they're looking for their next spot to go loot.
Yes, they got there and now we got to go. So
I dig it. I dig it.
I'll tell you right now.
Interesting.
I'm excited. Couldn't be more excited.
Now, hell yeah. No, when we got the Xbox, when we were doing the streaming thing, and I was like balls deep into Halo, my goal was we were going to stream all of the Halos. And then after that, I was going to move over to Gears of War, because I have played, couldn't tell you which one. I have played one of them. I know it had a Horde mode. It's the only thing I know.
Horde mode didn't come till,
I want to say 3?
I think it was 3. I don't think it was in 2. 2, I don't. Yeah. I'm pretty darn positive 2 did not have a Horde mode. I believe it was 3. If it had it in 2, they added it really late because they were also notorious for adding something super late. Like Gears 1 got King of the Hill like a year and a half into it. Just here's King of the Hill, a new game type.
Just randomly. Nice.
Yeah, we've had the same 2 game types this entire time, and now we're gonna give you a third one that like, let's see how this does. Gears 2 comes out in 6 months. It's
incredible.
Like, well, why? Okay, let's go play King of the Hill. Yeah, I don't like this.
No, I don't remember much from it. All I remember is it was like an old high school buddy of mine. We stayed up super late one night. I went over to his place because he had the Xbox, I had the PlayStation. So he always played God of War on my stuff. I always played Halo and Gears on his.
Yep.
And yeah, no, it was a good time. I never got into Gears because I was always a PlayStation guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping that maybe one day that would, transition over, but I don't think Microsoft will ever get rid of, or let go rather, of the IP of Gears to have it multi-console.
Oh, I have an opinion on that.
Yeah.
On why it will never happen.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I think so. Coalition is now who does Gears, which is just they just renamed from Epic and all that stuff just to have specific, because Microsoft way back when Bungie wanted to break free.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, we're tired, we want to do our new thing, so on and so forth. You remember all that stuff. Well, Gears and Epic and all them watched what happened with Bungie. And the head producers of Coalition, I think they saw what happened with Bungie and saw clearly, as good as Destiny is, Destiny's never scratched the surface of what Halo is.
No.
Even the worst Halos still make top selling lists. And they're like people hated the newest Halo that just came out. Still millions of people fucking play it. Like,
Yep.
I get it, millions isn't as impressive as it was 15 years ago, but at the end of the day, millions are still playing it. I haven't heard a thing about Destiny until they brought back Cade.
That's fair.
So I don't think
fair.
even the makers of Gears want to go that route. I think there's like, this was a perfect marriage between these two games. We're not to the point where Halo has kind of gotten. We're not wanting to become what Bungie did. I think it's just going to be one of those things of, we're happy. We're an all-time great franchise. We may not be number one, but we sure as hell is on the list. Let's just keep what's good. Just like
Fair
I think
enough.
the same thing for Uncharted. Like, there's zero reason for Uncharted to ever come over.
That's true. Yeah. Or Uncharted or God of War.
Yeah, or God of War. Like, it's just, there's a certain point where a game just becomes so like, Final Fantasy has lost so much of its luster because it's no longer Sony exclusive.
Right.
And I don't need to get into the details of why it's not a Sony exclusive, but like, some games lose their luster. But like, then you go back to like Resident Evil. Resident Evil got bigger when it expanded. And people forget 100%. It started with Nintendo, not Sony, then moved on, and then Resident Evil 4 changed everything.
Yes, it did. My personal favorite.
Oh, it's an all-time great game. Personally, I'm not a big Resident Evil 4 guy. Like, I enjoy it, but I also didn't grow up playing Resident Evil, so it never really resonated with me. Because remember, it was basically Ocarina of Time and who the fuck cares else for the longest time until I got to high school. So like, my what was Resident Evil 4 for most people, that's what Fable was for me. Just caught myself beating it every which way I can. Still to this day, probably the only true game that has true reflections of you being good, evil, or neutral. Still to this day, like, games don't really. Even the Fable 2 and 3 didn't even have the replications that Fable 1 had. I'm going to go kill this whole town. Oh, hey, look at these horns. Where do they come from? Like, true consequences for your actions.
Yep. Man. Trying to think. I know Infamous on the PS3 did that.
Very good game.
Because I loved Infamous. One of my top 10.
I had a very famous article when I used to write for a website that I got a lot of shit for until the game released, and then they stopped giving me shit.
Oh yeah.
Infamous 1, as you know, was incredibly good.
Oh
yeah. And then Infamous 2 had something weird happen, if you remember. Hold on, I gotta switch headphones real quick.
You're good.
There we go. Had some, as you remember, they released it and it looked different. I remember all my buddies, because I had not played Infamous yet, but Infamous 2, everyone's like, what the hell is why does this look so different? That's so weird. Like, what are you doing? And then that was like the original Sonic outcry of, what are you doing to this? Why are you being so weird? And then they changed it to what everyone wanted, which, kudos for them for doing that. I wrote an article saying that was the start of the downfall for Infamous. Because when you make an impactful game that is successful, you don't listen to unnecessary criticism. This isn't game 4, 5, or 3, and you're shit in the bed. This is the second game. This is game 2. Why are you listen to the fans, but don't overhaul the whole thing, which is what they did. And then my buddies were like, "Oh, you're just being an asshole. You're an Xbox guy." I'm like, I'm just calling it like I see it. Like,
yeah.
What if Gears completely changed everything from Gears 1 to Gears 2? Would we still have Gears today? Probably not. If we're just like, oh, we're already tired of the Locust. Don't do it. Or no, Marcus Phoenix, he's a little too old. He should still be younger right now for this one. Change that, because it was the look of the character was changed. And then I remember after people played it, they're like, you're actually kind of right. We were wrong. I'm like, oh, what? The fans were wrong for a second game? That's so weird. It's not like you had the basis other than one fucking game. How about we let them make... But you know what a company's made of when they get their chance to make the second one. And then did they earn the third one? Like the joke with Spider-Man. It's like, oh, Garfield didn't get a third one. Oh, congratulations, Holland. You got your third one. It's like, the third one is the one you earn. The second one is the one you show what you can do. The first one is to get people in the door. Which is a lot of reason why the first one's like, oh, the first one's always my favorite. Well, because it got you in the fucking door. You either have way too high expectations for 2 or way too low, and then can you bring it home with 3? And a lot of great franchises do that. Gears got you in the door with 1, didn't quite meet expectations, but was still solid for 2. They closed that door beautifully with 3. Halo is one of the few games where it just kept getting better. Like, and then it started downfalling. But Halo 1 to 2 to 3, it's like Halo 1, oh, that pistol, the story, everything's so crisp. Halo 2, I can dual wield now. What's this multiplayer? I'm online. This person's from Australia. And then you get to 3, and it's like, oh, replay. Oh, it's crisp. Oh, you can't dual wield a needler, so it's not overpowerful. Oh, I have a sword. Yeah, that's why Halo is up there. They're the only game I can actually think of right now that it literally got better from 1 to 2 to 3. And
absolutely.
I've still hear yet a bad thing. But
absolutely crazy.
Sorry.
Oh no, all good, man. No, I love it. So obviously 4 to 5 years, you haven't been streaming for that terribly long, but with this new go that you've been doing, what would you say is your main motivation? What keeps you going? What keeps you wanting to press that go live button? Because trust me, we all know how hard it is sometimes to want to press that damn button.
I felt that a couple times. Like, do I really want to go live tonight? Especially right now, because I have to go back through another custody battle, but I'm not going to stop this time through because I've already done the hard part. It's more of what gets me to push that live button is, again, going back to that whole KO, just keep fighting. And I'm at the point now where people are watching me again. People want to watch me again. Like before, when I was, I stopped and I was almost averaging 20 people, I still wasn't like getting subs. Like it was just people watching me, which again, never thought of this as a job, right? But when I came in this time around, it's like people actually sub to me. People actually message me. People are actually, for lack of a better way of putting it, almost waiting for me to go live. And that's kind of what gets me going now. Like people want to see me. Like I'm almost like the highlight of the day for a couple people. Like it's maybe not that extreme, but it's like people are wanting to watch me. I have a couple people that have messaged me saying, hey, I get paid next Friday, I'm subbing. And I'm like, oh, you know, make me feel good, but you don't have to do. He's like, no. You're my favorite person to watch. I want to support you. I want you to make it. And that's kind of what keeps me going. It's different because I didn't have that before. Like it's hard to put into words, right? A good buddy of mine, Ted Rush, who has an awesome, that's his real name. Great name. Used to go by the Ted on Twitch. Now he goes by Ted Rush. He's a guy that's really helped me a lot improve and grow my Twitch. Like I did a video not too long ago of like where I started to where I am now. You've seen it,
Mm-hmm.
like where you first
Oh,
saw
yeah.
me to where I am now. Everything's different.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking to him, and there's a group that I helped start not too long ago, which we can get into a little bit later. But like I was talking to him about that group, and I'm just like, yeah, this is the goals of the group that they want, but most likely it's not going to make it. But who knows, if they work hard for 2 years, they'll make it. And his response, because he was streaming and I was just in his chat, he's like, oh no, I think you're going to make it before 2 years. And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, do you know why I help you so much? Do you know why I'm in your chats? Do you know why I do this? I'm like, well, because we're friends, and I knew your brother for now going on like 15 years. I've known you for 10. Like, yeah, we're friends. We live in the same town. We know the same people. Like, what's up? And he's like, no, you have something that I wish I had, that other people wish they had. There's something about what you do that comes natural to you. And he's like, and to be honest with you, it's your pure enjoyment of life. You're just unequivocally you. You're genuine. You talk to people how you want to be. You're just, there's something about you. And every time you've upgraded something in your stream, your whole stream elevates. And that's because it starts with you. You're not someone that doesn't engage. You don't just get locked into a game. Like, you're willing to sacrifice gameplay for chat. You make people feel like they matter. And he's like, and normally with people that are on Twitch, they're kind of fake about it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a Twitch streamer, I gotta make you feel welcome. He's like, that's not you, because I know you outside of Twitch. And he's like, I've talked to some of your followers and been like, so this is Trenton, this is Onyx, this is Trent. Like, if you ran into him at Walmart, that's him. If you run into him at the auto dealership, that's him. What you see on stream is him. And he was just like, I help you because I want you to make it, because that is you. It's you making it, not just Reigns of Onyx. It's Trenton. And when people, say those things to me and talk to me like, we want to see you go, we want to see you go live, we want to see you play this, do this, that's what kind of keeps me going. That's why I hit that live button. I hit that live button because someone wants me to be there. It's not just me doing it. It's someone wants me to be there now, which is fucking wild, to be honest with you.
No, for sure.
So it's like, I just don't want to, even if it's one person, I don't want that one person down that I didn't go live. Like, there's people who come on Mondays particularly because that's the day I play DBD. There's people who come Fridays because that's my community night. There's people that come Saturdays because that is like usually my Shabuzi stream and they want to be a part of that. Like, people come Wednesdays because that's usually my single player stream or my new game stream. Like when Elden Ring's DLC came out, every Wednesday I was on the DLC, and that's what they wanted to see. So it's just kind of like, the reason why I keep hitting that button is because people want me to, and that's enough for me.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. I love it. So this next one's gonna kind of be one of those questions. Nobody ever really knows how to answer this, and it's fine. Like I said, it's kind of one of those questions. But what would you say sets you apart from other streamers / channels?
Like just my overall stream?
Yeah, like what sets Reigns of Onyx? What sets Reigns of Onyx apart? All of it, from apart from other streamers.
Well, the fact I have 6 kids is one of them.
Yeah,
I've learned more and more over the years. They're like, "Oh, you're lying. You don't have 6." No, I have fucking. I got 6 kids. It's like that's what I have, guys. There's 6 of them. What sets me apart?
Like I said, it's definitely one of those kinds of questions.
I think it. Honestly, I think it just goes back to what sets me apart. Really, is me. I'm different. I've always been different. Like, many of things about me has always been different. Like, not to sound like a full of myself type of person. But like who I am, I learned very young. If I'm not who I am, I'm not happy. Like if fakeness, like that type of crap, it can really bother me. Even if I find out like, you know, a close friend of mine's like, oh yeah, Trenton's awesome, Trenton's this, and then I find out behind, you know, just by him saying it himself, like actually he's kind of a douchebag. I'm just with him because of this, or like the non-genuineness. Like I try to be the most authentic, genuine person I could possibly be at all times. When I say thank you for the sub, I mean it. When I say you can join me on DBD, I mean it. Like I get enjoyment from people getting joy from me. Like it's the thing that sets me apart is actually me. It's just me. It's hard, like you said, it's hard to put into words. It's hard to explain. There's no gimmick I do. There's no thing I say. It's not the balls sponsorship. It's not even the games. It's the me that comes out is the same me you're gonna see if you run into me on the street. The same me is at WrestleMania. That's at Walmart. That's talking to you on a podcast. That's playing video games. That's in, like it's the same. The D&D session we just had. Am I any different now than I was in that session? Like it's
no. Besides for an accent, no, not really.
Yeah, right. The little bit of accent that I was trying to keep and I lost and I kept like it's just me being me. I don't get embarrassed very easily. I have very thick skin because I understand at the end of the day, there's very few opinions that will truly affect me because those are the opinions I know matter in life. So I'm just going to be me. If you don't like me, that's fine. Don't like me. If you love me, you love me. If you hate me, you hate me. Either way, I'm going to think no different of you. Like, I'm just me. And I'm going to continue to just be me. And if you want to know what makes me different, come watch me. That's what's it's me.
There you go. There you go. Onyx, we're going to switch gears.
All right, switching gears.
We are going to jump into everyone's favorite segment of the Small Talks with the Big Guy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be jumping into Ero's Top 5.
All right.
Play the thing.
The Big Guy's Top 5. Oh, yeah.
If I edit it correctly, there's a thing planned. It's funny. A little gimmick. So, welcome, Onyx, to Ero's Top 5. These are 5 fast, easy questions that are not so easy and not so fast to kind of let us know if you truly are not a robot. I don't know why it's that gimmick. I've had that gimmick since day one with this podcast, and I'm going to keep it going.
All right.
So, Reigns of Onyx, number 1, right out of the gate. What's your favorite ice cream?
My favorite ice cream?
Yes, sir.
I'm a big ice cream guy. So that is actually a lot harder. I need clarification, Mr. DM. Do you mean just the flavor of ice cream or how I have it?
I'll tell you what. Both.
Both?
Yeah.
If I just have to eat.
So typically I always ask everyone's favorite like kind of ice cream. And then typically after that I'll be like, okay, well, do you have a particular brand or whatever? So
okay.
you give me the answer however you'd like.
All right. So, big ice cream guy, have it all certain ways. If I was to pick one ice cream that I could always have, it is local to me. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but it's the Lockmead brand vanilla bean ice cream. It is a local dairy here. They have their own chain of mini marts as well called Dairy Mart, but it's Lockmead Farms. Fantastic vanilla ice cream, and vanilla is usually my go-to anyways because I can and it's always vanilla bean. Yeah, I hear if you're French vanilla. I don't give a shit. Vanilla bean is my go-to. It's amazing in a root beer float, which is one of my all-time favorite desserts. It also works very well in a sundae with marshmallow and chocolate chips. But on top of all of that, my go-to milkshake is vanilla bean ice cream with a whole fucking banana and a bunch of strawberries. Strawberry banana, but I make it creamy with that vanilla. That's the key, is you have that vanilla in there and then you bring in the fresh fruit. So yeah, Lockmead vanilla bean ice cream. Go to every time.
Yeah, never heard of it, but I'm here for it. Vanilla's usually the one I go for as well. Although I usually just bury mine in chocolate syrup, caramel, and then a little bit of peanut butter.
Exactly. You can do so much with it. Like,
exactly.
What can you not add to vanilla?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's goated. It's goated. Next one. Question number 2 is actually a 2-parter.
Okay.
So you can answer either one first, and for the second question, if you would like to give me a list, you can give me a list for either. Okay. Typically, with any of these questions, nobody's ever able to give me just one. If you can give me just one, I'll give you props. But just know you're not limited. So 2-parter. I need your favorite video game that you're playing right now, and I need your favorite video game of all time.
Oh, that's easy. Of all time is Zelda Ocarina of Time. There is no question to that. That game, if perfection was in a video game, it's Zelda Ocarina of Time. Invented the targeting system. It was an open world with not fully open world, so it worked. It was 3D graphics. You implemented music to it. You had temples where you had specific items that you needed. You had to travel back and forth through time. Tell me a game that doesn't that puts all that in one. Oh yeah, and they gave us horse racing. Oh yeah, and they gave us a fishing contest. Oh yeah, and they made us hate our lives with the water temple. But believe it or not, the water temple wasn't my least favorite, by the way. My least favorite was the stupid shadow dungeon when you had to use those stupid hover boots that would make you slide off the goddamn platform. That is the worst one. I'm sorry. I will die on that fucking hill. Water temple, I'm good with. Get rid of those fucking boots. Fuck those boots. Stupid boots. Oh, I hate those boots. Nonetheless. But yeah, that's an easy answer. Ocarina of Time. Greatest game of all time.
I think I do genuinely think you're the first person to ever give me like number one. Cause typically everyone always goes, man, it's hard, and then they're like, well, it's between these two, or
That is the one game I honestly believe if they did a full Unreal Engine 5 remaster of, it would shatter every record. If it went to any, it doesn't matter what console, that would be the most pirated, the most bought. You bring that game out, that will move millions of consoles if it's on one console.
Yeah.
Change my mind. Because they've done remasters of, like, what are the other games that are typically up there with greatest of all time? They've done remasters of them, and they don't sell as well as remasters. Case in point, Resident Evil 4. That's one that they always put up there, but that didn't sell the same. Okay, I'll charge it. Go play upstairs, son. Sorry, my youngest just walked up with her tablet.
All good.
All right, as far as my favorite game I'm playing right now.
If this is the one you need to give me a list for, you can.
Because I play quite a few games right now, but if I'm going to be honest with myself, this changed over the last week. So it was Elden Ring, but now that I've completed the DLC, I haven't picked it up again. So
that's fair.
My favorite game I'm playing right now has to be Dead by Daylight, because it's the only consistent game in my life. And I'm going to leave it by itself because, again, I literally have DBD Mondays. I am trying to be a fog whisperer. I don't think I stream it enough to get it, to be honest with you. But usually when I do community nights, it's most likely DBD. If I don't know what to play, it's going to be DBD. I get all updates for DBD. I do the codes. I'm okay at the game. I say that lightly because I can't loop worth a shit. But nonetheless, I mean, my number one game right now that I play is definitely Dead by Daylight. Has to be. I was literally playing it this morning just to get an achievement, and I'm one achievement away from having all the survivor achievements. I have 0 survivor achievements after I get this last one.
Nice.
I don't play killer very often because I suck ass at it. I'm a terrible killer. I'm not, and it's not that it's not fun. It's just you get to those matches where you get, the toxics.
You get 4 that are really good.
Or not even good, they're just toxic. Like
that too.
I just don't like the toxicity. Like, don't give me that.
Yeah.
Don't give me that. Oh god. Hold on one quick second.
No worries. I'll say Dead by Daylight is definitely one of those games. Definitely one of those games for sure, where it's got some of the worst toxicity of any community I've ever seen. Probably only second to maybe Overwatch, but
sorry, my headphones apparently didn't charge last night, so I plugged in my case so that headphone charges while this one has another like 15 minutes.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, who is your go-to survivor?
You know who it is. There's only one answer for that. All right.
I don't know. It may not be the same one as mine.
I'm Nick fucking Cage. Can't not play as Nick Cage. Give me Con Air outfit, please. Give me the Con Air outfit. Why do I not have Con Air in DVD? Why am I not in a wife beater with a terrible Southern accent? My head blowing in the wind like that. Give me Con Air. What do I got to do? Who do I have to take care of, DBD? Who do I have to go out to the back shed and do you know what that I can't mention because this is family friendly to get that skin? Tell me.
He's asking you behavior. No, I'm a David King main myself.
He used to be my main. So when I first started the game, it was Meg. And then my buddy, who's a big Dead by Daylight guy, who actually is part of who got me into it, goes, hey, do you know there's this free DLC, right? Then I met David. David became him. Then Victorio came out, who was Italian. He became my main. And then Dwight was my main for like a month, only because I unlocked the PUBG outfit, which is cool as fuck in Dead by Daylight.
Oh, there you go.
So I was using the PUBG outfit in Dead by Daylight, which was cool as fuck. And now I lost my train. And then Nick Cage came out, and let's be real, it's Nick Cage.
I'll say I have not purchased Nick Cage. There's actually, there's quite a few DLCs I'm actually pretty behind on when it comes to Dead by Daylight.
Well, you know it comes out at the end of the month, don't you?
Huh?
Castlevania.
Oh, that's right. That is at the end of the month. No, I had planned on getting back into it with the D&D update, and I still have yet to do it.
The D&D update was fun. I'm enjoying it now. Going back to that toxic stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you can be very toxic with that gun. Very fucking toxic with that gun. It's pretty. Yeah. You can be pretty fucking bad with him. So that's the only downside. But god damn it, I loved everything that they brought with that D&D. It makes sense. And now FNAF is coming later this year.
Yes, I saw that one too. Actually, I think is it not next year?
Is it next year? I thought it was maybe it's next year. They announced it though, which is the
yeah.
They finally announced it.
Yeah, which I mean, all of us knew it was fucking happening at some point or another.
Yeah, like there's no way you can, there's no way you can do Dead by Daylight without FNAF.
At some point, definitely.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
All right. Very good, sir.
Was that all 5?
We're gonna switch. No, that's only question 2.
Oh,
we're going into question number 3 to switch gears yet again. You talk a lot about video games. Let's talk about movies.
Oh, okay.
Top 5 favorite movies of all time. Hit me.
That's hard.
Yep.
So top 5. Do I have to give them in a particular order?
No, sir.
Okay. So top 5 of all time. So you probably haven't heard of this one, but in my top 5 is a movie called Hoosiers. That's very old.
I have heard of Hoosiers.
I grew up a big basketball player. Like, that's a big reason why I didn't get into video games until I was in high school, when basically sports was over for me.
Okay.
I'm a big basketball guy. I played competitive travel ball basketball.
Oh, wow.
Thing. Yeah, no, I played for a team called the Seattle Pirates because I lived in Seattle at the time, and we were ranked number 7 in the entire U.S. at one point.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I have a couple couple 3-point records in AAU, which I don't know if they still stand to the days, but I have a couple records that are national. I got a little plaque for it and everything. My dad has the plaque somewhere, but big basketball
for sure.
guy.
Yeah, love it.
So Hoosiers is up there. Now, this one's a little bit of a recency bias. Little bit, but I've watched this movie way too many times to not have it on the list now. And that is the new Dungeons and Dragons with Chris Pine. That is up there for me.
Okay.
That is up there for me because I watched it way too many times, not put it on the list. Another movie. I don't really want to say a singular movie. If you make me say a singular, I'll give you one for these next two. But it's technically two movie series because it's hard to pick one.
Okay.
But Lord of the Rings. If I had to pick one of them, it's probably two, only because of the Battle of Helm's Deep. That battle, one of the greatest of all time. So,
That's
Lord
fair.
of the Rings.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
This one's going to make you laugh, but there's a little story behind it. But Rush Hour, the Rush Hour series of movies.
Love Rush Hour.
All-time favorite. Rush Hour 1 was the first non-kiddie movie I saw in movie theaters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was the first movie. My mom's like, we're staying over here for the week. There's not a lot to do. Pick a movie. And I'm like, can we go see Rush Hour? Because, I knew who Jackie Chan was. And she's like, okay, let's do it. Fell in love with that movie. Everything about that movie. So the Rush Hour series as a whole, but Rush Hour 1 holds a special place in my heart. All right, so that's
Fair
4.
enough.
Fucking, what would be 5? So many movies come to mind. So you know what? We're gonna go with the movie I saw most recently. That is a great movie and might be my favorite superhero movie now for the moment. I'm gonna go Reese's bias on you. I'm putting Deadpool and Wolverine right there right now. If you asked me this question in a week, or if I had time to prepare, probably would be a different answer. But that movie, so great. I'm not gonna spoil anything for anyone, but all I can say is that person was born to play that role, and you know who I'm talking about.
I do know who you're talking about.
Born to play that role. That's all I'm going to say, but I'm going to put that one.
I'm about to make a name for myself.
Yes, sir.
No, I do love it. I do love it. No, I don't ever like to give anybody any notice with the top 5 because it never changes, but nobody's ever ready for it. I love it. All right, talk about games, talk about movies. Let's go to the third and final trifecta. Music. So as you all know, I have my guests. There goes my pen. I give my guests a notice to make me a top 10 music playlist that they are currently into right now or favorite of all time. It looks like you gave me something that you gave me a little bit of both. Cool. So I have it here. The way this is going to go is I'm just going to name off the song. You tell me why it's on your list. You can go as deep as you want, or you can just tell me, hey, man, it's a cool beat. I got to tell you, before we get into this, one of these surprised me.
I know which one.
Of these surprised. Yeah,
I know which one it is.
One of these surprised me. Also, you made my wife pop for it, which was really funny. But we'll get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, Onyx's top 10. We're starting off at number 1. I think, is this your newest one?
So
this might be the newest song on this list.
Yeah, it's a pretty new song.
Yeah, we got Lonely Road by Jelly Roll. Is it MGK featuring Jelly Roll?
Yes, MGK featuring Jelly Roll. So that top 10 list is the top. I kind of had to do a little deep looking into what I've played the most recently, and that's kind of how I got that list. The songs I've played the most on my playlist through Apple Music, basically. That's what that 10 list is the 10 songs I've been played the most the last 30 days.
Okay.
I think that's what it was saying. So I had to do a little bit of looking. But no, Lonely Road. Country Road by John Denver. So many great versions. Great song, great artist. I'm actually a big Jelly Roll and MGK fan. So when they did this version of it, it's just one of those songs you hear and you like it, you vibe to it. Can't really, it's just it's on, it's great. It's just, it hits home. It's no complaints. Love the song.
Definitely. I say I wasn't the biggest Jelly Roll guy when I first started listening to him, but as we've progressed, I'm slowly becoming a pretty big Jelly Roll guy, especially with Liar.
Same here. It was actually Creature with Tech 9 was when I started liking him.
I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah, he did a song.
I have to look.
Most of the songs of his that I actually do like are actually with other people too. It's not. He's one of those artists that I like when he's with other people a lot more than by himself.
Well, he does just do a lot of work with other artists,
Oh yeah,
which
he
I
just
feel
did
like
one
is
with
kind of a
Eminem.
lost talent. Yeah. Oh, what a banger! That one's a great
And
one.
that was his song was good before the Eminem feature because that was his song, and then he added just made it better. That was Jelly Roll. He's definitely been the last 6 months growing on me. 6 months to a year, he started growing on me. All right,
absolutely. Shout out to Jelly Roll. Would love to have you on the show.
Exactly.
Here we go. Lil Nas X.
Okay, this song is just a fucking banger, and if you're an Axel Foley Beverly Hills Cop fan, he took that old classic Hillbillies Electrico and made it into a banger song around it. That beat is in it with the chorus, and it just fucking hits. It just hits. Okay. The way he used it hits. Like I've Lil Nas X is whatever to me. I've liked some of his songs. I could care less for some of those. It's like kind of like, oh yeah. Usually the songs I like the most of his are like the radio hits, anyways. Like I go deep into his music. I don't really find a whole lot I like, and it's more like it's cool to listen on the radio to add a little diversity. No, this song I actually really like. Just as how he implemented that Beverly Hills Cop beat into it just works. It just works. And I saw the movie, and I actually loved the movie. I thought it was actually really funny.
Let's say I have not seen Beverly Hills Cop since the original one. So
yeah, the new one, Axel F is what it's called on Netflix. It has Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it too. It's good.
Ooh, okay.
It's good. It literally is a today's version of the original one. Basically, it's like it basically is the same premise, just updated a little bit. So some people are like, oh, it's just the same thing. Exactly. What's wrong with the same thing? It's still funny. Let it be funny.
Love it.
Just enjoy it and shut the fuck up.
Right. Absolutely. I love it. One of my favorite Jelly Roll songs, I'm Not Okay by Jelly Roll.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time for me to explain why that song's on here. There's a TikTok post on my TikTok pinned about that song. I don't know if you may not be aware.
I don't think I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I owe it to you in the podcast to mention. I'll try and keep it somewhat short. So,
the floor is yours.
Like I said way back when in the beginning, I got hurt at work. I've been out of work this whole time. I also have stress that's been drama induced from the ongoing custody issues that I've had for my daughter. And I started having intrusive thoughts of the suicidal nature. I never tried to act on them. There were never things where I just went, yeah, if I just kill myself, it solves everything. It's more of that song that comes on the radio that you absolutely hate. And then when you're off working on the yard or doing something else, all of a sudden you just find the tune that you're humming it because it's just there because it's stupid. For me, a song like that would be Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. Just all of a sudden it's like, shake it off. God damn it. Like, you don't want that in your head. That's what these thoughts were. I was diagnosed recently with situational depression. Basically, I've worked a 40-hour job my entire life since I was 16 years old, and I've worked 13 total days this entire year because of my work injury. And that caused a little bit of a chemical imbalance that caused these intrusive, they call them intrusive thoughts. They were suicidal thoughts. They were just thoughts of, do this, solves the problems. And then, my right side of my brain goes, yeah, but that doesn't solve any problems. It was more of just thoughts that are there that I didn't want. And I couldn't tell anybody because you've known me for a while now. I'm sure this is surprising you a little bit that I would have something like that. It surprised everybody. Genuinely. And it's good to talk about it. It helps to talk about it. Then Jelly Roll came out with that song. And it started giving me panic attacks, full-blown anxiety and panic attacks, because I knew I needed to say something. Because I'm not okay, but everything's going to be all right. Like, I know if I just talk to people, it will help. Because I'm not okay. Like, having thoughts like that's not okay. Good news, they have put me on medication, and I haven't had them since. So there's a lot of W's with that. But that song got me to talk to people. It forced me to I couldn't take the attacks anymore. And so I just spilled it out to my wife. And then I started spilling out to the other people. And then I made a TikTok post about it through advice from a counselor of, I'm a little bit of a talker, if you haven't noticed. And they're like, just talk about it. Someone will say something back to you. And, and there was actually a lot of really heartfelt messages that came back to me that, made me feel nice. Like I've always known I'm liked, loved. Like, again, I know
Definitely.
Committing suicide doesn't solve anything. That's why I wasn't diagnosed as suicidal, because I was very aware. But I also am smart enough to know if you let thoughts like that fester, eventually you're going to break down. And so I got help, and the help is helping. I was moving it, but that song got me to talk about it. And I talk. I don't talk about my feelings, but I talk. And that song, it didn't save me, but it helped me do what I do best, and that's talk. So that's why that's on that list. Favorite Jelly Roll song of all time, for that reason.
Incredible story. Wow. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, man. I had no idea. That's insane. I get it. I do. Obviously, everyone has their own little personal demons. Yeah, man, that's crazy. Let's move on. The Fight Within, Memphis Mayfire.
All right, so this song's a little bit weird. It was one of those random TikTok edits. Came across the song, and I just really dug it. Like it's just one of those. It just hit. It just hit right away. Enjoyed the lyrics. Enjoyed the song. Enjoyed the hook, the chorus. Just hit hard. Just really liked it. Never heard of that band before that. I haven't, and sadly, I have not looked up any other songs. It's just that one song, and it just hits hard, man. I just loved it.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I ever saw Memphis Mayfire in concert. I've known of them for a long time. They were kind of that same edgy, like, metal scene with, like, Bullet for My Valentine, all that back in, like, the early, or like the mid 2000s. So I was a little surprised to see them on there. Another banger, All My Life by Falling in Reverse featuring Jelly Roll.
The thing about this song, I've always liked Falling in Reverse. The thing about this song is you wouldn't even know it's them. Just the whole wee-hoo. No. Like it's just a song that puts a smile on my face. I just love listening. Yeah. It just puts the music video's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense how much it makes sense, and it's just one of those. It's always that, like, they call it your guilty pleasure song. It's not a guilty pleasure song, but it felt like this was their guilty pleasure song, and that's why I dig it. It just the wee-hoo just added.
Yeah, for sure.
No, did you know the lead singer's dating Paige?
Soraya, sure did.
Had no idea. Saw that the other day.
Because she comes out to Zombified over on AEW.
Yes, I found that the other day, but when I watched the music video, I was like, is that fucking Paige?
Yeah.
I was like, is that? And I, do a little research. I'm like, holy fuck, that's Paige.
Yeah.
Because she came into wrestling around the time I wasn't really watching. And then, of course, I see the movie and I've seen her not knowing who she is. Like, I recognize her, but I didn't know her name or anything about her. But I was like, when that music video dropped, I'm like, is that Paige with Bunny? And, TikTok, research, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. Like them even more now.
Yeah, no, it's, I remember seeing that she was in that music video, and I popped for it. I was like, "That's awesome! I love to see shit like that." No, they've been a couple of years. I think they've been doing the thing. They've got a nice little life together. They got a bunch of birds. So,
why does that make sense to me?
Keeping on here, Emo Girl by MGK.
Okay, so this one's gonna be a little bit interesting. That is actually my daughter's favorite song.
Oh, okay.
She calls MGK her boyfriend. By the way, she has no idea what he looks like, but she likes his songs. And that song in particular, she knows every word. She sings it. No, she doesn't sing the bad words. She's smart to not get dad in trouble. but she loves that song. She absolutely loves that song. Comes across my radio all the time. I dig MGK. It's kind of funny. Didn't like MGK when he called out Eminem. Loved MGK's music after he switched genres. It's like, it's funny how that works. Never thought I'd like MGK. Fell in love with best friends, or my ex's best friend, and then just kept digging. The music just reminds me of like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater days, which, fun fact, one of his songs is in the new remastered one.
Oh, okay.
To even go back to that. But yeah, just that song has played in the car every time. My daughter absolutely loves it. I'll catch her singing it when she's playing upstairs. It's just a good song.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Willow Smith.
Let's get into this one. I'm very curious. This one took me off guard. This one hits me a little personally. You've got Outsider by Devour the Day. Friends of the channel, friends of the show, Blake Allison, Joey Chicago, Walzer. Let's hear it.
All right. Little background. No idea who they were until you and Brackle. Obviously. You've always shout out to my fellas, all that stuff. I have heard it. I've heard their music on TikTok before you started sharing them to me, and I didn't even realize they were the same until one of the ones you sent me at one point I had already liked. I was like, oh, hey, Small World, because those type of bands show up all the time.
Yep.
On my For You page, and then that song came out, which I saw before you shared it to me actually, and it was just one of those. Again, goes back to just vibed with it really hard. Just really liked it. It was just hard to explain. It's just, it comes on, puts a smile on my face, enjoy listening to it, enjoy everything about it.
Love to hear it. Shouts out to Devour the Day, of course, Blake and Joey. Hey, I'm gonna get you on this damn show at some point. No, man, that's also a part of the Fragments of Us EP they've got over on Spotify, and I think pretty much every other kind of streaming service imaginable. Shouts out to Devour the Day. I love that, man. That's awesome. I love it when worlds collide, man. I love that shit. Okay. Here's to the Years by Jairus Johnson.
Yep. Do you not know who that is?
I do not.
So you do. You've heard his sound. So he is literally the embodiment of TikTok famous. Do you remember the banjo song? I was like, damn, fucking ends. That's him.
Okay.
He's had a couple songs that became TikTok viral. People don't know who he is. He did the Cut My Life. He did, oh God, why am I forgetting the Papa Roach song's name? But he did a reloaded version of that with Papa Roach, where he did his own verses with their chorus.
Okay. Is it Cut My Life into Pieces?
Yes, that one, which Last Resort. Last Resort Reloaded.
There you go.
So, but he's done quite a few songs. He's done a Halo song, a Call of Duty song. Like, he basically just does what he fucking does. And he embraces the I'm a TikTok musician type of thing. Doesn't look like what you think, but Here's to the Years are one of his more recent songs that was inspired by D&D for him. It was he posted it was coming by which bard sings this tune, and he put up these little AI images with the chord or like the basic music, which if you hear it, you're like, that's totally a fucking bard. And the last picture is an AI image of Jack Black as a bard. And but no, it's just one of those songs. They come up and you're like, yep, no, he's had so many like songs that you just wouldn't expect to hit like they do. It's like he's the ultimate vibe check for me. He like brings the best of emo rock, punk rock, alternative rock with a little bit of rap and new, like he mixes them. Like you definitely need to check him out. He'd surprise you.
I definitely will.
For crying out loud, he does a random dance monologue in the middle of Here's to the Years. Friends, we shall dance. Like freaking river dance music in the middle of the whole thing.
That's awesome. Keeping it going with Jairus Johnson, tell me about Battling My Demons.
So alluding back to before. That's kind of why I kind of feel this song. But this was another TikTok song when AI music was going crazy. He came out with a song "Battling My Demons," and I think his name is called Boy What. It's like Boy What or something like that. Boy something, and he's like a DJ, and he added a verse by Plankton from SpongeBob to it.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually Jarvis Johnson and Plankton in this song.
Oh dear. All right.
But it works. It really does work. And it's basically just a song, you know, I'm battling my demons and I'm not going to let them beat me type of thing. Like it's a very like think inspirational rock, I guess that's my like it's something that gets your juices going, right?
Yeah.
Just like I'm loading up. Like I use the same two Jarvis Johnson's calls for like my end of like when I post game clips, I have a whole thing of, you know, join the House of Onyx, here's the links type of thing. And I use here's to the years and I use battling my demons. Quick little 8-second clips that go at the end of all those videos to be like, yeah, this is who you were just watching. Hello, that's me. Go over here.
Love it. Yeah, man. And then number 10, and by far the one that I am the least surprised to see. Main Event J by Def Rebel. Now, before you get into any of this, you are only the second person in the history of this show to include a wrestling theme song on their top 10, which is baffling to me considering how many people I've had on the show that enjoy wrestling.
Was it Jedi?
It was not. It was actually Entity from the Inside Studios. And the part about that sucks is that he picked the original Bray Wyatt theme song. I cannot remember who did it. I want to say like Mark Ronson, maybe. That's probably incorrect. That got taken down off of Spotify. So that song is no longer on the top 10 playlist, which sucks because Living in the Fear, I think is what that song is called, is a fantastic song. Now, tell me about Main Event Jey Uso.
Your fault.
My fault?
It's your fault. You made a video on TikTok responding to someone who listens to Roman Reigns as like number 4 on their Spotify list, and you had it as like number 2. And I went,
oh no.
Was it 1?
It was 1.
I couldn't remember. And I saw that and went, all right, challenge accepted. You got to support who you got to support. I'm not going to sit here and say Jey Uso's theme's like the best thing Def Rebel's ever done. Or like, let's be real. Is it on my top 5 of actual music songs? No. Which Edge's, I never can pronounce the fucking name. Edge's song is number 1 for actual music for a theme song. It's
by Alter Bridge,
yeah. That's number 1. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But I had to step up my game because you actually had your favorite wrestler's theme song as a song you listen to regularly. I had to step up. Yeet. It's on all my playlists. Drives my wife crazy. But I will say, Uso's song, I'm sorry, how do you not get jacked with Uso? Just yet. So great. And believe it or not, I didn't think I was going to like Jey Uso until he embraced the yeet. I was not an Uso guy. But he just like, you know what? Yeah, fuck this. Yeet. It's like, all right, it's ridiculous. You gotta love it, man. I mean, come on. You can't go Jey Uso without feeling it in your city, okay? So you are the cause for this.
Jay, man, I think I got your number 1 fan over here. Hey, if my love and support for our one true and only tribal chief,
I will give you that.
Reason why you support Jey Uso, I will take that. I will take that.
I will say that. I mean, I'm just feeling a little oozy. What can I say?
He's feeling oozy. No, man. Def Rebel nailed it out of the park with Head of the Table. I love that song. I love that song. And
I will admit it's legitimate. There's songs that I know a lot of people love, and I've never like this. This is gonna be terrible. I think Triple H's entrance music is overrated.
Okay. Now hold that. Which one? King of Kings or the game?
Ooh, I don't
because
I don't know if I've
he
heard
comes
both.
out he comes out to both sometimes. If you're talking the one he uses recently,
it was at the peak of Evolution before he shaved his head. If that helps,
it would have been King of Kings then.
Is it King of Kings?
I think
it's all about the game and how we play it. All about so is that not the one?
That's
okay.
That is the game.
Oh well,
that is the game.
I can't stand it. I mean, well, that's not fair. That's not fair. I just always thought it was overrated. Just like I think CM Punk's song is overrated too. Just like I think I can't stand Drew McIntyre's. I'm sorry. Broken Dreams is the best song you ever had, Drew. Get the fuck over it. Like, I get it, but it is. Broken Dreams to me is up there as far as real music for an entrance song.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's, I don't know. I get some of these wrestlers don't get much of a choice. And I mean, I always love it when TGN networks, they like to not criticize, but critique a lot of the entrances. And when Braun Breaker had that first change, he's like, it's not bad. It just sounds like generic wrestler number 2 on WWE 2K. And then they changed it to be a little bit better. But like they make a valid point about Death Rebel. It's home runs or strikeouts. There's no singles, doubles, or triples with them. It's home runs or strikeouts. And sometimes the fans make it a home run. Because Jey Uso's thing is a home run only because of the fans. If Jey Uso wasn't popular, that song would be trash. And
man.
But he also made it work by getting the crowd like and then now adapting to the Fireflies. It's like, Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, I gotta say, I enjoyed Living Color's Cult of Personality for a majority of my life just as a song, and then CM Punk has killed it for me.
Right.
Which is a shame because This Fire Burns, his original song by Killswitch Engage, I also just enjoyed that song altogether. But shouts out to Howard Jones, the singer of Killswitch, is one of my favorite singers of all time.
There you go. I do have to say, though, real quick, ending topic on entrance songs. I think Randy Orton is the only guy to successfully have 2 great opening songs, but his original one was still better. His newest one, Voices, fits him better.
Yeah.
But his original that he used to come out to was just a way better banger.
Burning in the Light by Mercy Drive.
Way better of a banger. I Hear Voices obviously fits his whole fucking persona. Real life and wrestler. But god damn was Burning I hated Randy Orton Evolution, but that song got me jacked. That song was like, hey! Yeah! Right.
Love it.
All right, go ahead.
No, you're good, man. I love it. I love your energy. It's one of my favorite things about you is your energy. I love it. So I do have to say you are the first and only guest to not only include me a top 10 music playlist, but you're also giving me your top 5 most listened to artist.
Mm-hmm.
So really quick, I'm just going to go through that. NF, Jelly Roll, MGK, Daughtry, and Hollywood Undead.
Yep. Which is weird because 3 of those did not have a song on my top 10. But remember, that top 10 was what I've been listening to recently. So to give a little preface, these 5 artists, these are right now the top 5 artists. If I decide I just want to listen to music, I will go to them and just hit radio, which will just randomly play any of their songs. And by far, NF is number 1 for me on that. Where I just throw him on, work out, throw him on, mow the lawn, throw him on, doing chores. NF's number 1. He's my bucket list.
Yeah. Absolutely, brother. I love it. I do love it. Okay, so that is the music playlist, which obviously you can go down to the description below, find the link for the Spotify playlist of all of these amazing songs from all of the guests I've had, including Mr. Onyx's top 10. which have been added to it.
Sweet.
Love to see it. Love to see it. We're going to round up Heroes Top 5 with easily the hardest question, I think, on this Top 5. You've already talked a lot about the personal struggles that you've been through mentally, physically, emotionally, everything that you're going through with the custody battles. Obviously, you know more than anybody that depression and the world can sometimes just kick you in the fucking ass.
Mm-hmm.
However, I feel like you especially have the power to let somebody know that it'd be all right. It'll be okay. But if you had one thing to say to the world, what would it be?
Believe it or not, this is not as hard as a question as it might sound. Be unapologetically yourself always. You were made the way you were. You have adapted to who you are. Everyone's gone through their own life struggles, challenges, goals, achievements. What you've done, what you've chose, who you are has been defined years over time. And people don't change, but people adapt. The whole people never change thing is a load of shit. Because the guy I was 15 years ago is not the guy I am right now, because things change you. You know, something as simple as having a kid changes you. Buying a house changes you. Going from and I just lost my headphone. 1 second. Going from a job to a career. These things will change how you look, how you act, what you do. Hell, deciding to steal a car will change who you are. Going to jail will change who you are. Losing an arm because you were deployed to Iraq. But who you are, don't apologize for it. If you're a dick, then you're a dick. If you're a great person, you're a great person. There's no cookie cutter thing that decides who you are. What you do and how you choose to do it is what makes who you are, and never apologize for that, because you are who you are. And if you accept you, others should accept you. If they don't accept you, that's fine. There's the door. Enjoy life. You're not a person for me. You accept me. Here's my table. Let's eat. Let's have some drinks. Let's have some good talks. Have some good vibes. Because again, you can't change who you are. Never apologize for it. Ever. All right, now I got to grab my other headphone.
Oh, man. See, I'll wait until he's back before I give my 2 cents.
There we go. Got my headphone. We're good.
Love it, bro. I do. That question typically usually always has the same-ish answer. Everyone always usually just says don't be an asshole, but everyone's got their own special way to say that version of it, and I love it. I do love it. But that right there, ladies and gentlemen, and Reigns of Onyx is another wonderful edition of Heroes Top 5. Thank you so much for playing, Onyx.
Of course.
We're going to wrap things up very slowly here, but So, I knew that you were a wrestling guy, obviously. You and I bond over wrestling, but I guess I really just didn't know how big of one that you've been. How long have you been watching, would you say?
So that's kind of a mixed answer. So, growing up, grew up with WCW. Like that's what I grew up watching. Had no idea. So to give a little background, had no idea WWF existed. I think I was, how old fucking was I? I want to say it was around 10 when I discovered WCW. Juventud Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, the NWO. Never knew Hulkamania, by the way. I only knew of him as Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And I really got into it when the Wolfpack, all-time favorite faction, Sweet, came out. Loved Sting when he showed up, because I remember watching Sting showed up. Loved the ridiculousness of Goldberg, because I was a kid. Where in 1 week, all of a sudden he has 50 more wins. Like,
Ever seen the documentary? You know. As a kid, I was like, yeah, 68. I'm like, Dad, he beat 50 guys in 5 days. And my dad's like, Jesus Christ. I was like, the math was there, but it's like, no, I'm living in the moment. Living in the moment. Love WCW. Watched it when I could. I was young, so, couldn't always watch it all the time. But, I kept up, watched when I could, did all that stuff. Hated Chris Jericho, by the way. Least favorite guy for the longest time. Then my sister introduced me to The Rock because she kept saying, because The Rock said so. I'm like, why are you talking to rocks? Like, no idea. Remember, had zero idea what WWF was. It's like, why are you always talking about what The Rock says? Rocks don't talk. You're fucking stupid. Like, fucking 12, 13-year-old at the time, had a buddy who finally introduced me to WWF. Or no, not WWF. I take that back. I had that little introduction to WWF. And then they became WWE. And that's when the first time I came back. Had no idea WCW wasn't around anymore. I thought it was all the same thing. And I just remembered the name wrong. Because I was like, oh, hey, there's, Eddie Guerrero. Oh, hey, there's Chris Benoit. Hey, there's Goldberg. So on and so forth. Love watching it with my little brother. We'd do wrestling moves on the trampoline. Big Jeff Hardy fan. Love Jeff Hardy. Always would do the Swanton Bomb. Funny thing is, love Jeff Hardy. Used to call Matt Hardy a pussy. Don't know why I loved one and hated the other. Couldn't tell you why. Loved Jeff, hated Matt. No idea why. Maybe because I had a crush on Lita and I was jealous. I don't know. But my all-time crush in WWE was Stacy Keibler. Just saying. But nonetheless, went through all that. My first pay-per-view was WrestleMania, Undertaker returning as the dead man against Kane after getting buried alive by Kane in the Vince McMahon 20. Match. Watched for a little bit, then went away again for a while to come back in high school for a little bit. That's when I got introduced to Eddie Guerrero and the Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena, before he became whatever. Was watching again. I was John Cena in high school for one Halloween because, I love the fact he wore a chain with a padlock. And this one, it was heel. Watched him become a face, beating the Big Show for the U.S. Championship. Loved watching the rivalry of him versus Edge, which to me is a top 5 rivalry all time. As much as we talk about Cena and Orton, there was something about Cena and Edge that just made sense, and that is the match that should be WrestleMania, a double retirement match where Cena gets to win, because people don't get to win their retirement match. I think Cena should,
right? Personally,
nonetheless, and if Tony Khan doesn't want Edge to do one wrestling match, I don't think Edge gives a shit. But nonetheless, all that said and done, then left again for a while until recently. I came back because the one thing I always did for the longest time was watch Royal Rumbles. That's what it was. I'd watch Royal Rumbles because that always entertained. I usually watch Royal Rumble. I try to watch WrestleMania. But here was what changed to bring me back again. Peacock had all the live pay-per-view events for free.
Yep.
Started watching WrestleMania. Royal Rumble. First one I came back to, I believe it was Houston. And that was like Damian Priest's first Royal Rumble. Never knew who Damian Priest was. Wore the all-white, freaking athletic 6'5", just awesome. Watched it, loved it. And I actually think that was a replay, to be honest with you. And I was like, oh, wait, that's a replay? I'm going to watch the new one coming up. And watching the Royal Rumble again got me slowly back into it. Then I saw Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble. And I was like, I think I need to start watching again. And then watched him, was still not really watching. Watched WrestleMania, and I actually felt something when he lost to Roman Reigns. I was like, that's interesting. I haven't felt that way about wrestling in a while. Ended up finding TGN networks, talking to you about it more, just bringing all those feels back to, and now I watch TGN networks on TikTok every Monday and Friday. They're really trying hard to get me to watch NXT. It's hard because I just have so much shit going on Tuesdays. It's not that I don't enjoy the wrestling. I just know this. It's not that the stories don't matter on NXT, but they don't matter once you go to the main roster. Like there's that weird minor league feeling. I know it's not, but it's like it's hard
No,
for me to get.
I get it.
It's hard to get into it for me. The wrestling's amazing. The characters are amazing. It's just hard for me to invest in a completely what feels like a different show. It's like I'm investing in TNA, AEW, and WW and NXT. And I just can't invest that much. But obviously I'm now back to being a regular again, watching all the time again, watching, doing all that stuff. Loved the Stone Cold wrestle for my job. When he was like the constant GM switch, Eric Bischoff, Stone Cold, Mick Foley, what's up, player? Yep. Theodore coming in, like that was in, and then I was out for a while, so regrettably, I never really experienced a lot of Bray Wyatt. To be honest, I didn't experience Nexus very much. Like there was a lot of stuff I missed. I didn't really experience the Authority. It was kind of like a weird thing. Like that was the time that I was gone, and I came back, and unfortunately, I learned more about Bray Wyatt after his passing. And I'm like, man, he kind of is an all-time favorite wrestler for me, and I didn't even watch.
He's such a talent. He's such a talent.
Love what they're doing with the Wyatt Six. There's a theory going around, which I think is true, is that the sixth member is actually an honorary member. Because, they're talking about there's not a sixth member. It's, the sixth one is the spirit of Bray Wyatt. Well, there's a theory that the sixth member is actually Jey Uso as an honorary member because Bray's wife gifted him the Fireflies. And that Jey will eventually have an issue, and the Wyatt Six are going to come and protect him.
Ooh.
More of this will probably be something like Jay's going to have like Gunther, or he's going to have Roman come back after him. Like something's going to happen, and they're going to step in and be like, nah, he's protected, dog. Go away. Which I would love to see.
I hadn't reached into it that deep. I do love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, right now, my dream booking of all is I want Jay to win the Rumble and beat Gunther at WrestleMania. I think Jay needs to be the one to beat him because Gunther has not beat Jay clean.
No.
And Jay, the whole joke, how can you call yourself main event Jay when you're not in the main event? Obviously he is now, but he didn't give himself that name. Like that's the part that drives me crazy is when someone's given a name not by themselves and people are acting like they gave themselves that. He didn't give himself main event Jay. Like that was given to him by multiple people. But nonetheless, I digress. But yeah, that's where I'm at wrestling. I'm obviously in it full bore again. We talk about it. We've done a couple prediction contests. Definitely, I think WrestleMania's predictions would have gone a lot differently if we knew some of the things they were going to do. Like, if we knew Bubba Ray was the special ref, nobody's picking the Final Testament. Like, stuff like, I mean, ours came down to something we both believed, but we had to have a tiebreaker of somehow, because I thought Damian Priest was going to cash in too, but I'm like, we can't both say it, then we literally are going to be tied all the way. It's literally going to come down to who got this one right and who got this one right.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'll let him have the cash in. If I get an L for it, I'll get the L for it. Fuck it. Who cares?
Love it. Yeah, man. No, it's I love bonding with people over wrestling because like wrestling for me has always been something that I've like. It's been one of the very few constants in my life ever since I was knee high to a grasshopper, as they say. I took a small break after actually getting into the business, being a security guard and somewhat training to actually be a wrestler. I had some personal things go on, and
what was your move? What did you have a finisher picked out? What's your finisher? I got one too. What's your finisher? I gotta hear this.
I had two. Well, three if you want to count the submission. My first one was I grab you by the head, turn you around, and then I just elbow you straight in the back of the head. I called it Illegal Tendencies.
I like the name a lot.
Straight ripoff from Chris Hero, one of my absolute favorites of the indie scene. You would have known him as Cassius Ohno in the WWE.
Oh, hey, yeah, I remember that. I actually do. I remember that.
My other one, they call it the TKO. It's literally a fireman's carry spin into a cutter.
Oh, okay.
Super simple, but it looks good, feels good. Yeah.
And what was your submission? I always love submissions.
The Texas Cloverleaf.
Ah, okay.
Something
Classic.
about that submission, man. I just love it.
Not the Stinger Deathlock.
No, God no.
So growing up, we always had our moves on the trampoline. I had two. One was an ode or a tribute to the Hardy Boys. It was the twisting swanton of fate. So instead of standing straight up and doing the swanton, I'm reversed. You do the swanton, but you twist midair and hit it.
Oh, okay.
A lot easier to do on a trampoline than real life.
Yeah,
so
I'd say so.
So twisting swanton of fate, and then the other move I called not. Granted, I didn't know this when I was a kid, but it was called crossfaded. I would grab you almost like a rock bottom, lock both hands. I would lift you up and then sideways slam you right into a crossface.
Oh, okay.
Like, think a little bit like Baron Corbin's, End of Days. You flip them around, except for you don't do the full flip. You kind of just pick them sideways, slam down right into the crossfade, and you hold them. So they get they hit the ground, and then all of a sudden they're up and getting crippled in the face. So
yeah, man, I could see that. I could see that going over. I really could.
And the best thing about that move is you don't have to be super strong or big to do that. So it's they always say the simplest of moves are the best to do. I mean, look at some of the greatest finishers of all time. The RKO is literally him just jumping and grabbing your head.
Yep.
Like literally not even like fancy at all. The swanton made famous, the frog splash. We're just jumping and landing on you. We're just giving it a little flair.
Yeah. I dig it, man. I dig it. Now, I fell off a little bit with wrestling there, but then thanks to our tribal chief, he's actually the reason why I got back into wrestling. And
same thing with Cody for me. Cody Rhodes is what got me back in. And he's not my favorite. Jay's my favorite right now, but Cody's up there for me.
Definitely. So. The American Nightmare. Well, Mr. Onyx, I think that's got to be about it for us.
Okie dokie.
On this episode of Small Talks with the Big Guy. So, do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me basically on every social media platform. It's Reigns of Onyx or Reigns_of_Onyx. But no matter, you look up Reigns of Onyx, you're going to find me. You can get confused on TikTok because on TikTok it says Tretnell Chalmers, which is my real life name. But that's just my display name when I talk. My actual name on there is still Reigns of Onyx. It's confusing. But if you look up Reigns of Onyx, there's only one. I'm the only one. I'm the best there is, the best there was, the only Onyx there ever will be.
Ooh,
allegedly.
Love that.
Allegedly. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
That smells like a t-shirt later down the line.
Exactly.
And just because I love to ask, you got anything maybe cooking up that you're planning? Something big, maybe something down the line?
I'm technically not cooking it, but so as people who know me, I'm working on a balls sponsorship because, #balls deep. But nonetheless, I'm going to be doing here starting next year. It looks like I'm going to actually be what do we call it? An insider, or I'm going to be specifically creating for a game. And that game is Macabre, the 4-person co-op extraction survival horror game. I'm going to be doing giveaways with alpha keys and whatnot, but it looks... I don't want to get my hopes up too high, but it does look like I'm going to be one of the actual official content creators for this specific game by WeForge Studios out of Australia. They just hit their Kickstarter so they could quit their jobs and focus on the game 100%. I was one of the early people in on this game. So as far as cooking goes, I'm going to be doing a lot of Macabre stuff. So
yeah.
So that's
Hell
specific.
Yeah, brother.
And of course, if I get the official tag as a ball streamer, fuck it, I'm going to be ecstatic as all hell. But like
say balls, we're looking at you. Make your move. Come on now.
Now, make your move, balls. And also, don't think I haven't noticed. They have a rumored new flavor coming out. And I swear to God, I'm gonna say this right here. It's on the record again. It's been on the record multiple times. But they're allegedly coming out with a green apple flavor. And if it's in a purple bottle, I got beef. Because I made my own custom flavor that was green apple in a purple bottle. And if that's what comes out, I know you see me. I know you see me, balls. I will come for you. I don't want your money. I just want you to acknowledge me.
Hey, full circle. Love to see it. Reigns of Onyx, thank you so much for being on here, brother.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me, man. It was fun.
Yeah, of course, brother. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much for tuning in to episode 7 of the best podcast that you've never heard of, Small Talks with the Big Guy. Make sure you tune into our next episode. Make sure you go back, watch all of our previous episodes and everything else in between. Make sure you go follow my guest, Reigns of Onyx, on everything. Twitch, TikTok, Insta, Twitter, whatever, brother. Go find him. Go follow him. You know the gimmick. Also, go follow Small Talks over on Twitter, along with all of my personal socials as well. If you just follow Small Talks, it's okay, though. Add to that, keep your eyes out for new Hit the Go Home content coming out every other Small Talks Wednesday. I appreciate you all so very much for listening. And Onyx, I think Jedi and I might got something for you on Hit the Go Home here pretty soon.
Ooh, okay. I'll keep my DMs open.
Yeah, there we go. But thank you all so very much, and we'll see you in the next one.